Hello everybody. So I was sitting here pondering the flame of this beautiful Bob Ross candle I got from Dollar Tree. I wish I could give you a better angle of the decal on it, but I don't want to get the wax everywhere. So just know that's Bob Ross. It's a pretty good smelling candle. I got it at Dollar Tree, so maybe you can get one too if you like it. And I also have this just an older piece of art sitting here just to give you something to stare at, but I'm just going to be talking today because as I was pondering this flame, I wrote out a little paragraph of something that I thought was pretty interesting and I would like to dive deeper into. So basically, what I said was, life is the coolest movie ever. Watch as reality merges with thought. Thought is like the creation process, the writers and the directors. Life is the movie. It's interactive, open to interpretation. Perception is the truth. So I'm going to go through this sentence by sentence just to give you a greater understanding of what my actual, like, words don't quite encapsulate the whole experience. So I want to go deeper into it. So first I just said life is the coolest movie ever because I was sitting here looking out my window, looking at the trees, and I noticed something. Like, as I was thinking a specific thought, there was a butterfly that matched that thought, if that makes sense. I hope you get where I'm coming from. It's kind of an abstract concept, but I was just thinking about a specific person and a specific thing that had happened, and then as I was thinking about that, a random butterfly started flying. It was a beautiful yellow butterfly, and it the the beautiful yellow butterfly is a very physical representation of that thought that I was having, which is awesome. And I've had it happen also with like wasps. Like, wasps are typically seen as less beautiful and somewhat threatening. And as I've been looking out my window, if I come across an energy within my brain that kind of makes me feel threatened in some kind of way, like it's something that just doesn't feel good to think about, I'll notice a wasp start tapping on my window. And that's what I mean by watch as reality merges with thought, because as I'm thinking things and experiencing the feelings that those thoughts arise within me, I notice things outside my window that coincide with those thoughts and feelings that I'm having, whether it be a butterfly or a wasp. Sometimes it's a bird, and that just, it shows me on a very simple level how our thoughts actually become reality. That's something that is taught a lot in spiritual spaces, and it's something that I'm starting to get a deeper understanding of just through these basic life experiences where I slow down and just observe, and I pay attention to my thoughts. I allow my mind to wander, and then I watch the world around me show subtle signs of connection with those thoughts. And I don't know, I thought that was really cool. So yeah, what else did I say? So watch as reality merges with thought. I just spoke on that. And thought is like the creation process, the writers and the directors. So as you're thinking about, like, okay, these are things, thoughts, maybe ideas, things I want to accomplish. Let's approach it from that standpoint, like a manifestation through thought kind of thing. So it's like, okay, I want to accomplish this thing and I'm thinking about it, and that would be you being like the writer in this situation where you're writing out your future, and you're writing like, okay, I'm going to buy this house, or okay, I'm going to build this business, I'm going to create this piece of work, whatever that is for you. It's just, that's you writing the movie of reality, right? And then you're also the director within your mind because you come up with specific plans or ideas, or some, you may say you come up with them, you may also say you receive them, just depending on your perception of how that actually works. I believe more that we receive the directions rather than come up with the directions on how to execute something. But I think it could also go either way. I prefer to allow the directions to come to me rather than going out and seeking how to do things, but that's just my approach to life. It's a more feminine, relaxed approach, but you may have like a more masculine approach where you go out and get it done and you devise the plan based on logic and whatnot. Either way works, and I think both ways can lead a person to success in creating that movie that they want to see, right? So yeah, we're the writers as we come up with ideas and like deciding, okay, what do I want to see in my reality? And then we're also the directors and coming up with plans or receiving plans, whatever way that you see that. And then life is the movie. It's the experience. And you are the observer of that movie. How do I word this? Because life is the movie. So when we think of a movie, we're sitting down and we're watching an experience play out before us. And that same thing is happening with life. We are watching life play out before us. Life is way more interactive with a movie. You can't really touch the screen and change the outcome of a movie, but you can touch something and change the outcome of life. So it's a bit more involved than a literal movie, but I'm just speaking in analogies here, right? So life is the movie because we are sitting back and observing and watching things unfold in accordance to what we had planned. So I guess part of being the director would also be the actions that you take, but I do believe action starts within the body first, and then it goes to external circumstances. Like if I want to move this piece of paper, I think about, okay, I want to move this piece of paper first, and then I move this piece of paper. So I guess the director part of the movie is a little bit more involved than more physically involved than the writer part of the movie. But either way, life is a movie because we are observing it, watching it happen. A lot of things happen that we didn't directly make happen as directly as moving a sheet of paper. Like I was talking about in the beginning of the video, I didn't make the butterfly start flying in that specific moment. It just did that on its own. And that is what inspired me to think of life as the movie, because I just watched it happen. I don't know. That's it. You kind of just watch life happen, and you can design life through your thought. And I think that goes very deep, much deeper than I'm going to get into in this video. But it's a very just, you think and then things happen. Whether it be through physical movement through your body, or if it's just things external to your physical body that are influenced by your thought. It just happens, right? Or at least that's how I experience life. And I'm just speaking on my experiences here. That's all this channel is. I also do tarot readings, but in videos like this, I am solely speaking on my spiritual experiences and my philosophies and understandings of what's going on. Okay, next sentence I said is, it's interactive and open to interpretation. So life is interactive and open to interpretation. I think I spoke a little bit on that just a couple seconds ago, where you can physically like make things happen more directly than an actual movie. But it is open to interpretation in the way of understanding why things are happening or how things are happening. Because my interpretation of the scene with the butterfly, where I thought about something beautiful and then I saw a butterfly fly, my interpretation of that was that the world around me is connected to my thoughts, and as I think beautiful thoughts, I see beautiful things happening. But your interpretation, or someone who thinks in a different way than I do, they might have just been thinking that beautiful thought and then saw that butterfly and didn't think at all that their thought was connected to that butterfly. They might have written it off as coincidence or completely unrelated. Like, okay, I think this beautiful thought and outside is beautiful, and those two things are separate. So it's open to interpretation. But I see it all as one. I see everything as a piece of mind, if that makes sense. Or at least I believe that my mind has some power of influence over the environment around me. But again, it's open to interpretation. So maybe you think differently. And if you do think think differently. I would love to hear what you have to say, because I don't know, I'm open to all types of perspectives. I find it very interesting because everyone thinks so differently. And my last sentence that I wrote was, perception is the truth, which is something I believe very strongly. So whatever your specific perception of life is, that is the truth, point blank, period, right? Because I've been this is a video that came out recently where it was like one quote New Ager versus 20 Christians, where there was one spiritualist, her name is Jasmine, and she was speaking to 20 different Christians, and that has it has started a whole binge watching thing for me, where I'm watching different religions have conversations with each other. And I believe that none of these people are actually wrong. They're just different because their perception is the truth. And I think the easiest way for me to describe what I'm talking about is Christians, because they have a very strong perception of what the truth is. And I'm not going to say that they're wrong, because their perception is Jesus Christ was born from a virgin and lived a perfect life. He died on the cross as a way to save the world from sin, or the people who choose to follow him, they're being saved from sin based on the fact that Jesus was crucified on the cross. I don't 100% understand Christianity and what they mean by that, but I'm speaking about perception is the truth. So their truth would be that since they are a follower of Christ, their sin nature has been forgiven and they have received salvation. And that is just true. Point blank, period. That is true for them based on their perception because of their life experiences. And that's just what Christianity is. But then there's also other religions that I can't quite describe. Like, let's say, I don't know, I feel like Christianity is something that I know most about, and then the rest is more personal experience and my own journey through spiritualization. I don't know. I'm losing the words here. What I'm describing is perception is the truth. So two people can have very different perceptions of what reality is, and both of those people are living in their truth. I think the biggest thing to point out here is truth is not fact. Those are two completely different things. Truth is not fact, because truth is based on your perspective, while fact is based on like scientific reasoning, stuff that can be proved over and over and over again. So when I say perception is the truth, what I mean is whatever your perspective is the truth. And if you change your perspective, the truth also changes with it. Because as you are thinking your thoughts are related to your reality, which is the movie of life that I'm talking about here. And so as you change your thoughts, which is the writer and director of your reality changes alongside with those thoughts, because your perception and the way you're perceiving life to be true changes and shifts, and it's intangible. Truth is intangible. And to kind of wrap this all up, all I mean by life is the coolest movie ever, and watching your thoughts merge with reality is your thoughts create your reality in the way that perception is truth. If that makes sense. I really hope I'm making sense right now, because I don't know, there's just a lot of different ways people interpret words and whatnot because of their reality and their truth and perception of those words, you know? Because the life that you live is 100% dictated by the way that you are perceiving the movie that you are in. If you perceive things to be merely coincidences and 100% unconnected, then your truth and the way your movie will play out is things are 100% just disconnected. This candle is the candle, the paper is the paper, and they have nothing to do with each other. My thoughts and that butterfly had nothing to do with each other. It just happened at the same time. Purely coincidence. If that's the way you think about life, that is the way life is going to play out for you. There will just be unrelated things around you. But if you change your perception or your perspective of what's going on to link these things together, those things inherently become linked, because your lived experience of them will be linked, because the way you thought about it in a very linked way. Okay, I hope that made sense. This video is becoming long enough. If you have any questions about what I'm talking about, if I didn't make anything clear, I would just ask me, because I would gladly like to clarify that. So yes, questions are always welcome here down in the comments. I'm going to end this video here. I like to speak on spiritual topics. I like to showcase my art. I like to do tarot readings. I also like to do healing through my hands. If you are interested in any of that, feel free to subscribe to this channel. And one last thing before I go, I am considering scanning this and putting this up on my Etsy as for prints, but I do have one issue with it. So on the back, there is just some like other random doodles. I really like this side and I want to make prints of it, but at one point I got water on it, so there's like this bleed through from the other side, which is slightly imperfect, and I'm not sure if I want to scan it because of that and put it up for art prints on my Etsy. So if you do want this and you wouldn't mind the fact that that would come through on the art print, let me know. If even one person comments that like, yeah, I would still get it even though like that had happened, it's still like something that I would hang up, then I will scan it and put it up on my Etsy for available for prints. And if not, that's okay. I have more art. And speaking of, I do have an Etsy link down below, so if you would like to buy some of my art, there's a link in the description. And yeah, that is the end of this video. I hope things made sense for you. I hope I didn't sound too crazy. I know I can sound a little crazy sometimes, but I'm gonna let you go now. Thank you for spending some time with me. I love you, and goodbye.